Hello and welcome back to Learn English with Mike, the podcast dedicated to helping you become a confident and fluent English speaker. I'm your host, Mike.
And I'm Sarah. It's great to be with you all again.
Today, we're diving into a topic that is, without a doubt, one of the biggest challenges for English learners everywhere. It's a wall that so many people hit on their journey to fluency.
It's something we get asked about constantly. In emails, in comments, in our classes, it's the number one barrier.
Exactly. We're talking about the fear of speaking English in public. That feeling in your stomach when you have to speak, your mind going blank, the words just not coming out.
It's a powerful fear, and it can be incredibly frustrating. You might know all the grammar, have a great vocabulary, but when the moment comes to speak, nothing. Just silence and self-doubt.
Right? So in this episode, we're going to unpack that fear. We'll explore where it comes from, how it holds you back, and most importantly, we'll share a whole host of practical, actionable strategies to overcome it and build real, lasting speaking confidence.
This is going to be a big one, so grab a notebook and let's get started. Mike, let's begin with the big question. Why do we feel this fear so intensely? What's at the root of it?
That's the perfect place to start. I think the number one reason is a deep-seated fear of judgment. We're social creatures, and the thought of being negatively judged by others is terrifying.
Right. We create these scenarios in our heads where we make a mistake, and everyone in the room either laughs at us or thinks we're stupid.
Exactly. This ties directly into the fear of making mistakes. For many learners, every mistake feels like a failure. It feels like a reflection of their intelligence or their ability, when in reality, it's just a normal part of the learning process.
And that often comes from a place of perfectionism, doesn't it? The belief that I must speak English perfectly before I can speak in public.
It's a trap, because perfection is an impossible standard. Even native speakers make mistakes, use fillers like and and forget words. If you wait for perfection, you will wait forever.
Another huge source of anxiety is the fear of not being understood. You say something and the other person just gives you a blank look. That feeling can be crushing.
Oh, absolutely. Or the opposite, the fear of not understanding them. Someone asks you a question, they speak quickly, and your mind just freezes. You don't know what to say, so you just smile and nod.
We've all been there. It's that feeling of being exposed, of not being in control of the conversation. It's a very vulnerable position to be in.
It is. And all of these fears, judgment, mistakes, misunderstanding, they all combine to fuel this powerful self-doubt. You start to believe the negative voice in your head that says, your English isn't good enough. You shouldn't even try.
Yeah, that inner critic can be so loud. And the problem is this fear doesn't just stay as a feeling. It actively sabotages your progress by creating what I call the vicious cycle of fear.
Let's talk about that cycle. It's something I see with students all the time. Can you break it down for us?
Definitely. It starts with the fear itself, the anxiety about speaking. Because you feel this fear, the natural human response is avoidance. You avoid situations where you might have to speak English.
Right? You stay quiet in meetings at work. You let your English-speaking friend order for you at the restaurant. You turn down invitations to social events.
Exactly. But what happens when you avoid speaking? You don't get any practice. Speaking is a skill, like playing the piano. If you don't practice, you don't improve.
Makes sense.
So, because you're not getting practice, your fluency doesn't develop, and your skills stagnate. This leads to the next step in the cycle. Your English confidence remains low, or even gets lower.
Of course. Because you have no recent evidence of success. You haven't had a good conversation to prove to yourself that you can do it.
Precisely. And then, what happens when you have low confidence? It reinforces the original fear. The next time a speaking opportunity comes up, your brain says, "See? You can't do this. Your English sucks. It's better to stay quiet."
And so you avoid it again. And the cycle repeats, spiraling downwards. Fear leads to avoidance. Avoidance leads to no practice. No practice leads to low confidence. And low confidence leads to more fear. You get stuck.
It's a perfect trap, a self-fulfilling prophecy. You believe you can't speak well, so you act in a way that ensures you never get better. It's heartbreaking because so many talented learners are trapped in this cycle.
So the obvious question is, how do we break it? Where can we intervene in this cycle to reverse the spiral?
I believe the starting point has to be your mindset. You can't just force yourself to be brave. You have to change the way you think about the situation first. It's about reframing the entire experience.
Okay, mindset shift. Let's dig into that. What's the first reframe we need to make?
We have to fundamentally change our relationship with mistakes. As we said, most learners see mistakes as failure. We need to start seeing them as data, as opportunities.
I love that. Not failure, but data.
Yes. A mistake isn't a sign that you're bad at English. It's a sign that you're pushing your boundaries. It's a bright, flashing arrow pointing to exactly what you need to learn next. If you never made mistakes, it would mean you weren't learning anything new.
That's such a powerful reframe. So, instead of saying, oh no, I used the wrong preposition, you can say, interesting. My brain is still working on this preposition. I'll focus on that this week. It removes the shame.
Exactly. The second big mindset shift is about the definition of fluency. So many learners are chasing a ghost. They think fluency means speaking like a Hollywood actor with perfect grammar and a perfect accent.
Right? An impossible and frankly, unnecessary goal.
Completely. Real fluency is about one thing: communication. Can you successfully transmit the idea from your brain to the other person's brain? That's it. That's the goal.
So it's not about how you say it, but what you say, and whether it's understood.
Precisely. This leads to a motto I tell all my students: aim for connection, not correction. When you're in a conversation, your primary goal is not to have perfect grammar. Your primary goal is to connect with the human being in front of you.
Connection over correction. I like that. It takes the pressure off. Nobody will remember your small grammar mistake, but they will remember if you made them feel heard and understood.
100%. And this also applies to your accent. So many people have anxiety about their accent, but your accent is part of your identity. It tells the story of who you are and where you come from. As long as you are clear and intelligible, your accent is not a problem.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Laughs. Exactly. A feature, not a bug. So, once you start to internalize these mindset shifts, mistakes are good, fluency is about connection, my accent is okay, the fear starts to lose its power.
Okay, so the foundation is a healthier mindset, but we still need to take action. We need to break the avoidance part of the cycle. Let's move on to the practical strategies. What can our listeners start doing today to build their confidence?
Great, let's build a toolbox for them. My first and most important strategy is start small. Very, very small.
Yeah, don't decide your first step is to give a 20-minute presentation in English.
Please don't. That's setting yourself up for failure. Start with what we call low-stakes interactions. These are short, transactional conversations where the goal is very simple and the other person doesn't care about your grammar.
Like ordering a coffee.
Perfect example. Can I have a large latte, please? Thank you. That's it. Or buying a train ticket. Asking for directions. Asking a clerk in a store. Excuse me, where can I find the batteries?
These are small wins. Each time you do one successfully, you provide your brain with a tiny piece of evidence that says, hey, I can do this. It slowly builds a foundation of confidence.
It really does. Okay, what's strategy number 2?
Prepare and practice. Confidence doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from competence. If you feel unprepared, you will feel anxious. So if you know you have a specific English-speaking situation coming up, a job interview, a parent-teacher meeting, a phone call you need to make, don't just walk in cold. Prepare for it.
What does that preparation look like?
Think about the vocabulary you'll need. Write down some key phrases or sentences. Practice saying them out loud by yourself in front of a mirror. This builds muscle memory and reduces the cognitive load when you're in the actual stressful situation.
I love that. It's like giving your future self a gift. You're making it easier for the version of you who will be nervous.
A big part of that practice can be recording yourself. I know, nobody likes the sound of their own voice, and it can feel awkward.
Laughs. It's so true. It's always a shock.
But it is one of the most effective tools available. Use the voice memo app on your phone. Read a paragraph from a book. Answer a question. Then listen back. You will be surprised. Often, you sound much better and clearer than your anxious brain tells you. And you can also identify specific pronunciation issues to work on.
That's a fantastic tip. Okay, so we've got start small and prepare and practice. What about managing the physical symptoms of anxiety in the moment? The shaky hands, the racing heart.
This is crucial. You can't think clearly if your body is in fight or flight mode. The simplest and most effective tool is conscious breathing.
It sounds too simple to work, but it really does.
It's science. When you're anxious, your breathing becomes shallow and fast. By consciously slowing it down, you send a signal to your nervous system that you are safe. Before you walk into that meeting or make that phone call, take 3 slow, deep breaths. In through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, and out through your mouth for 6. It can make a world of difference.
It's like a mini reset for your body. I love it. Okay, another strategy that I think is essential is finding a safe space to practice.
Yes, this is about creating an environment where the fear of judgment is removed.
Exactly. This could be a language exchange partner, especially one who is also learning your native language. There's an immediate sense of empathy and understanding. You're both struggling, you're both learning.
It could also be a conversation club or a class specifically for English learners. Being in a room with people who are on the same journey is incredibly validating. You realize you're not alone in your fears.
Having that safe space to experiment, to make those mistakes and get that data, is how you build the skills that you can later take into higher stakes situations.
Let's talk about a specific practice technique. One that I'm a huge fan of is shadowing.
Oh, great one. Can you explain what it is for our listeners?
Sure. Shadowing is where you find a short audio clip of a native speaker, maybe from a podcast, a speech, or an audiobook, and you listen and repeat what they're saying in real time, just a split second behind them.
And the goal isn't just to say the words, right?
Not at all. The goal is to mimic everything. Their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation, the way they connect words. You're trying to copy the music of the language, not just the notes. It helps you develop a more natural flow and builds confidence because it bypasses the part of your brain that is consciously constructing sentences. You're just speaking.
It's a fantastic technique. And I have one final strategy, which I think might be the most powerful of all, because it brings us back to the mindset piece.
I'm intrigued. What is it?
It's the idea of focusing outward, not inward.
Okay, explain what you mean by that.
When we are nervous, our attention is almost 100% on ourselves. We are trapped in our own heads, listening to our inner critic. We're thinking, how do I sound? Did I just make a mistake? What do they think of me? Oh no, I forgot that word. It's all me.
That's a perfect description of anxiety.
The trick is to consciously shift your focus 180 degrees. Instead of focusing on yourself and your performance, focus entirely on the other person. Make your goal to understand them as deeply as possible. Listen with curiosity. Ask them questions.
So you're turning a performance into a connection.
Exactly. You're making the conversation about them, not about your English. When you are genuinely curious about someone else's story or opinion, you forget to be self-conscious. Your brain is too busy listening and formulating questions to worry about grammar. Your self-consciousness just melts away.
That is a game changer. It shifts the entire purpose of the conversation from proving my English to connecting with a person. That's incredibly powerful.
Wow. We have covered so much ground today. I love that idea. A practical playbook. Where should we start?
We really have. Let's do a quick recap. We talked about the roots of this fear, judgment, perfectionism, self-doubt.
We broke down the vicious cycle of fear, avoidance, lack of practice, and low confidence that keeps so many learners stuck.
Then we talked about the foundational mindset shifts needed to break that cycle, viewing mistakes as data and redefining fluency as connection, not perfection.
And finally, we filled our listeners' toolboxes with practical strategies. Starting small, preparing and practicing, managing anxiety with breathing, finding a safe space, using shadowing, and the big one, focusing outward.
If you're listening to this and feeling overwhelmed by this fear, please hear this. You are not alone. This is a completely normal, universal part of the language learning journey.
Absolutely. There is nothing wrong with you. Every fluent non-native speaker you admire has felt this same fear. The only difference is that they found ways to face it and take small actions despite the fear.
So we want to leave you with a challenge for this week.
Don't try to do everything we talked about today. Just pick one. One small thing.
Maybe your challenge is to go buy a coffee in English. Maybe it's to record a 30-second voice memo on your phone talking about your day.
Maybe it's just to take 3 deep breaths before your next English class. Or to try focusing outward for just 2 minutes in your next conversation.
Whatever it is, choose one small, manageable step. Take that action and prove to your brain with evidence that you can face this fear. That's how the spiral starts to reverse.
You can do this. Be kind to yourself, be patient with the process, and celebrate every small victory.
That's all the time we have for this episode of Learn English with Mike. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you next time. Keep practicing and take that one small step.